Avalokitesvara images from the Kalā school of art in northwest India shows the Bodhisattva in a variety of iconographic forms. The Kalā school of art dates from the 8th to the 12th century of the Common Era. This video looks at a specific iconographic form in which the Bodhisattva is shown as standing and with 6 arms. The images are now in the Indian Museum in Kolkata. The 6-armed form of Avalokitesvara is rarely depicted in Indian art. In fact, this form is not described in the iconographic texts such as the Saranamala and the Nibbana Yoga Valley. The 6-armed figures are singular not only for their intrinsic qualities, but for their significant iconographic features. This first image constitutes a stele which is in a good state of preservation. It is from Kurkihar in the Gaya district of Bihar. The sculpture is made of grayish-black stone, worked out in deep relief. The 6-armed Avalokitesvara is shown standing in a strict frontal view on a small double-petaled lotus placed on a pedestal. The body has a strong build, with the shoulders being bare, apart from the left shoulder having a sash of an antelope skin. The Bodhisattva wears a lower garment with floral and pleating marks. The jewelry with which the Bodhisattva is endowed is artistically designed, enhancing the beauty of the sculpture. His jewelry consists of armlets, beaded necklaces, a long sacred thread of pearls known as the sacred thread or Yajnopavita. Additionally, there is an ornate diadem around his hairstyle. This diadem is composed of rows of pearls which support 2 triangular floral motifs on either side of a short protuberance. We can clearly see the seated Buddha Amitabha at the front of the Bodhisattva's tall hairstyle, making it easier to identify him. The full face of Avalokitesvara is slightly corroded. Otherwise, it has a serene, benign expression. The figure also has a pair of anklets by his feet. In his top right hand, he holds a rosary. In the middle right hand, he holds a jewel or chintamani, and the lowermost right hand displays the gift-giving gesture. On his left side, he holds a lotus in full bloom in his upper left hand. His middle left hand holds the noose, and the lowermost left hand holds a water pot. In this stele, Avalokitesvara is not depicted alone. On his right side is a standing 2-armed Tara. Her 2 hands are in adoration, while she also has a stalk of the blue lily passed under her left arm. Behind her head is a plain halo in low relief. On the Bodhisattva's left side is Bhricuti. She is also shown standing, but with 4 arms. Her 2 frontal arms are also in adoration, just as Tara. The attribute in her upper right hand can unfortunately not be determined from this image. However, her upper left hand holds a 3-pronged staff. She can also be identified by the stupa at the front of her hair topknot. The pedestal of the stele is inscribed with a dedicatory record. The low pedestal is simple in execution, conspicuously marked by the absence of motifs, like attending characters, foliated scrolls, or the 7 jewels. The upper part of the back slab shows 2 flying figures with a garland on either side of the Bodhisattva's head. This iconographic feature is rarely seen in Bodhisattva images. The back piece, which appears behind the head of the central figure, is composed of internal pearled row and an external row of flames. The Buddhist creed is inscribed on the back plate and has been paleographically dated to the 9th or 10th century. The second image of a 6-armed Avalokitesvara is from the monastic site of Kurkihar in the Gaya district from Bihar. The image is carved in grayish-black stone. The sculpture has some severe damage to his hands, which hold the iconographic attributes, and also a major part of the head is fragmented. This 6-armed Avalokitesvara stands in a strict frontal view on a small double-petaled lotus. The body has a strong build, and on the left shoulder we see a pleated scarf worn in a sacred thread fashion. The Bodhisattva wears a lower garment that touches his ankles and is tied with a double girdle with hanging tassels. His ornaments include beaded bracelets, armlets, a necklace, a long sacred thread of pearls, and an ornate diadem likely surrounded the hair topknot. Unfortunately, the hair topknot, along with a possible diadem, is damaged. The full round face of the Bodhisattva is corroded, otherwise it has a serene, benign expression. This figure does not have any anklets, unlike the first image. Unfortunately, Avalokitesvara's upper right hand is completely missing. However, the middle right hand appears to hold a jewel, and the lowermost right hand still displays the gift-giving gesture. The left side is even more damaged, with the upper left hand and the middle left hand both being missing, but we can see a water vessel in his lowermost left hand. Considering the surviving lotus in full bloom by the Bodhisattva's left shoulder, it is likely that one of his left hands held a lotus, just as we saw in the previous image. On the Bodhisattva's right side, we see a seated Tara, who can be identified by the blue lily held in her left hand. On Avalokitesvara's left side, we see a two-armed Burkuti, who holds a water vessel in her left hand. She can be identified based on the stupa at the front of her hair topknot. On the upper part of the back slab, we see two transcendent Buddhas. On one side, we see Amoghasiddhi, the transcendental Buddha of the northern direction. He exhibits the gesture of fearlessness with his right palm. Interestingly, the corresponding figure on the other side of the back slab is also Amoghasiddhi, showing the same hand gesture with his right palm. There is an inscribed Buddhist dharani on both sides of the head of Avalokitesvara, which has been dated to the 10th century of the Common Era. The low pedestal bears a dedicatory inscription and is simple in execution and does not bear any motifs or other iconographic details. The identification of the six-armed form of Avalokitesvara is intriguing. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, the Buddhist iconographic text, the Sadhanamala, and other ritualistic compendia do not give its description of the attributes of Avalokitesvara in this form. The six-armed manifestation of Avalokitesvara has been identified as a form of Avalokitesvara based on his holding a noose in one of his hands. The first image examined in this video clearly holds a noose in one of his left hands, making it possible to identify him as Avalokitesvara. However, due to the damage of the hands on the left side of the second image, this figure cannot be identified with certainty as Avalokitesvara.